Hey there YouTube, AJ here, and today I'm going to be continuing to work on the little patch panels I made that hold the rear door handles into my 1927 Ford Model T Touring hot rod project. That's a mouthful. Anyway, let's get to it.
So if we look at the front of how these latches actually attach, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that attach the latch itself to the door. Now, obviously this metal is pretty thin and there's no way screws are going to hold in that. So if we look on the back side of the way it's mounted in the front doors of the car, there is actually, on the back of the sheet metal, there is actually a thicker piece of metal that on the bottom goes across here, comes up, goes back across this pivot point and goes back down, comes into this corner and bends up, and it's then drilled through the side and here and tapped for the screws to attach it to the car. Now the same thing happens on the top, except for it's just a flat piece here because it goes above this pivot point, and then it bends up and comes to here. I might be making it a little hard on myself, but I think what I want to try to do, if we look at it from this side, I think I want to come across, up, down, in, up, over, down, and across flat here, and have it all be one kind of U-shaped piece with this bend on the end. I'm not sure if I can do that though, because I might be just adding too much complexity to it, but I think it would help with the strength of the door itself. We'll see. I might have to revert back to doing it the way they did with just 2 separate pieces, but I think if I can do it as one, I will add some strength to the door and make it a little better. To that end, I have this piece of angle. It's like 3/16 of an inch thick that will give me plenty of screw to attach to. It is bent at a 90 where these latches aren't quite a 90-degree bend, so I'll have to unbend some of that. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure it's long enough to bend up, over, bend back down, and still have enough room for this screw. It may just barely catch it. So I think what I'll do, and again, this might come back to bite me, seeing how that may not be long enough, but I think I'll just go ahead and cut one out and try it and see if it's going to work. Okay, well, we have something here. Basically that to that. This will go into that position here. Need to bend this back to match that angle. It's not much, but it does need to bend a little bit. Also need to cut this down because it's way too long, but I'm going to wait until after I get it bent to the right angle before I do that. And then I need to do a bend in this part here. Oh, I also need to clearance it here. For this part here, I need to clearance right there. So let's do that next. Get that to where to sit. So let's mark that out. So basically, when it comes straight off this corner here, how deep do we need to go? I had it about right. Okay, so that's next. We need to notch that out for the slider mechanism. Okay, now I understand why they had it built in 2 pieces instead of what I'm trying to do here. The depth of the door is not much deeper than this piece here. Anyway, when I notched this
to clear the slider and where the catch that mounts on the door jamb goes through. When I notched it, well, it's too far in, or it's too long, and I don't have any steel to connect the two pieces. So, I mean, I could try to shorten it, but it's going to be so close, it's not going to be worth the effort. It's going to be a very sliver of a piece of metal. So not all's lost, lesson learned. So I'm just going to take this one and cut it into two pieces. And then the next piece I make, I won't bother trying to make this U-shaped piece. I'll just go ahead and cut two strips and put them on there. So, lesson learned. Let's move on from there. Okay, so I've cut two sets. Ooh, it's still hot. This one's a little wider for the top, a thinner one to go down here. So now what I gotta do is bend them all a little more open, get rid of this 90 so it matches the profile of here. And then I'll have to bend the skinny ones up and around this pivot point here. So once I match that, then I'll bend it up, over, back down. Okay, so that part was pretty straightforward, just getting the angles to match there. I didn't heat the metal or anything. I wasn't bending it very much, and I was just kind of opening it up. I didn't think I needed to. This next part, I'm going to have to heat the metal because I'm going to be trying to put a couple of really sharp bends in it to get it above this pivot point. First thing we need to do is mark where we need to bend it, and then bend it up 90 degrees, and then bend it back 90 degrees, and bend it back down 90 degrees, and bend it back the other way 90 degrees. I don't know if I can really do that in this short piece, and I don't know if I'll have enough metal left over when I do. We'll see. This is going to be tough because I can't clamp it where I want to clamp it. All right, here goes nothing. I almost did a very bad thing. I almost bent this that way, and that is the opposite way I need to bend it. I need to bend it this way. I caught myself just in time. It's kind of going there. It's making it tough because I don't have a lot of room between this hole and where the pivot starts. So I kind of got to get a little more roll out of this corner, but I can't go very much further this way. Okay, so this was a waste of time. As I kind of suspected, I can't get my bends tight enough in here to fit around my pivot point. I get the bend up, but when I go to bend it across, I'm way too high. And when I bend it back, by the time I bend it back down and straighten it out flat, I'm going to be out of metal. I'm not going to have enough to cover this other screw hole. Let me try one more thing though. Now that I've got a good 90 in it here, maybe if I take and try to let it bend in the middle here and come back down, maybe I can flatten it out and go with it. We'll try that.
Okay, we got our pieces made. Not bad, they fit pretty good. I did have to cheat a little bit and clearance the bottom edge for the pivot with a file. I still have plenty of meat to hold them together, so I'm not worried about it. That's not going to have any stress on it, so shouldn't be an issue. Now I just need to clean them all up and get them ready for welding to the plate, and have to trim them to the lengths I need for to fit on the plate. Okay, we got them all cut to fit, ready to go. Now all we got to do is weld these 4 pieces to the patch panels, and then we can drill and tap them. I've got the bars clamped into place. Now it's just time to weld these bars to the patch panel. Alright, they're all welded together. Good and sturdy on the back. These little bars aren't going anywhere. They don't look the greatest, but you know, that's the life of learning how to weld. Anyway, got them both done. Latches fit. Oh, that would fit better if it was the other one. The latches fit in place. They operate. So that's all good. So the next thing we need to do is drill and tap the 6 holes that holds the latch to the support pieces in the back. That way we can start fitting it into the door of the car. All right, so we got first one clamped up here. So basically we got 6 holes to deal with here. We got 4 on the inside panel and then 2 on the edge. I've got it all clamped up in the vise here, and I'm gonna do these one at a time. I'm gonna center punch them, use a center drill bit to try to get a good hole right in the center, and then I'm going to drill the hole and tap it. And I want to do them one at a time simply because I want to try to hold everything in position, and that way when I'm done they will all line up and not be, if I try to drill them separately they may kind of shift and things won't line up perfectly. So these are being tapped for a 10 by 24 screw, number 26 drill bit. And if you don't know it, never blow into something like that with your eyes open, because that stuff can come right back up into your eyes. Don't break. Okay. Now our 10 by 24 tap.
As far down as I go for my tap, it's my...
Now if all went well, we should have our first screw in here. All right, that's one. Only 5 more to go on this one and 6 more on that one. So you probably didn't see it in the time lapse, but when I was drilling this one, I was just a little off center, and I tried to use my drill bit to kind of straighten it back out and get myself back on center, and I broke my number 26 drill bit. That's on me. I know that wasn't the way to do it. I should have stopped. I should have put in a centering bit and got myself back on center and then moved from there. What's done is done. I went down a size and drill bit to 27. I don't know if I can tap from here. I'm going to put this in, try to give it a little swirl to wallow it out just a little bit. And hopefully I'll be able to tap these. I do not want to break a tap off. Shouldn't have just jinxed myself. Kind of committed on this one now. Hopefully we can get through there. I think we got her. I don't know if I want to continue with the smaller bit and swirling for the other one,
or if I need to go get me another correct size drill bit. It is a lot easier to tap when you got the correct size drill bit. So there we have it. We have our latch in our patch panel, drilled and tapped to our supports on the back, screwed in, everything's there together. Our latch works, that's nice. So yeah, I just got to do this again for the other one, and I won't take you with me on that journey. Hopefully we'll just jump to the next scene. If you see me back with this one, then we had problems. So hopefully you won't see me back with this one. We'll be in the car next. So I don't want to just go and slap this in the door, start cutting and tacking it in. Want to get it in the right place in the door first. And to do that, I need to locate my latch that it attaches to onto the door frame. And then get my door mounted into the B-pillar, I guess, is what you would call this up here. Anyway, so off camera, I have spent hours and hours straightening hinges and making plates for my latches and my hinges to attach to. Basically all I've done is I took a piece of steel that was actually used for repair on the back of my front seat that I didn't want to use. It was kind of a kludgy repair, and it did add strength to the back of the front cab, but I want to do it better. So anyway, I took that chunk of steel out of there, I cut it into pieces and drilled holes and tapped that matched the catches and the back of the hinges. I just need to attach those in the correct place using my nut plate, whatever you want to call this. Originally these were attached with 2 square nuts, and you might ask, why would I want to go through all the trouble of making up these plates and drilling them and tapping them when I could have just used nuts back here, and I wouldn't even have to use square nuts really. I could just use regular nuts because they're going to be hidden. I do plan to put interior panels in here eventually. Now that's why I want to do it. If you're driving along and the nut back here rattles off or gets loose and your catch gets loose, or you need to adjust this catch and you have nuts back here, well, once this is loose out here and you have just two nuts separately back here, you have to take off the interior panel to tighten it back down. Using this plate with 2 holes drilled in it saves me from removing my interior panel if all I want to do is tighten a screw down or loosen them up a little bit and make some minor adjustments. Because now I can loosen one down or both down, and as long as I don't take the screws completely out of that plate, I don't need to get to the back of this to hold the nut to tighten it, because with this plate tied between these 2 screws, when you go to tighten it down, the plate itself is locked in with the other screw and it'll hold so you can tighten it from the outside. So like right now I don't need a wrench to hold a nut back here to tighten this down. So I'm hoping that's a good idea on my part and possibly will save me in the future, but I guess time will tell on that. I'm hoping there's nothing that I'm missing that would make this a bad idea, but for now I'm going to roll with it. And I've done the same thing for all my hinges except for the hinges that actually go in my front doors. The front part of the hinge that attaches to the body mounts the same way, and I made these little plates for that. But the hinges that mount to front doors actually mount with number 12 screws. These are all quarter 20 screws, or quarter 28, I'm sorry. These are all quarter 28 screws, and the screws that go into the front doors are smaller, and it kind of adds to my, I think
I think my front doors are themselves are older than my rear doors. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just making it work with what I got. So I got my patch panel now with my door latch screwed into it. All the supports in the back are welded in. All that's nice and sturdy. Now we should be able to put it on there. Voila! It's actually attached. Comes off. So the idea is once it's in the door, this will come in. Press, latch, done. One other thing I've done in behind the scenes, like I said, I spent hours and hours straightening out hinges and trying to get those working better and making these nut plates. Another thing I did was I took all my latches and they had a twist in them and that was a factory twist. I actually had to straighten up a lot of them right here. I guess as the cars got older and people just pulled on these to pop them open, they ended up bending them over time. But anyway, they all had a factory twist in them as well. And I didn't like the way they were twisted because they did not mirror each other. They were all twisted the same way. So like say you took and just twisted it clockwise from the top. So the ones on that side, which in my opinion they should have been twisted the opposite way so they would have been mirrored from one another, but they were all turned the same way. So I just didn't like that. It messed with my OCD. I didn't like it. So I've got my own idea I'm going to do. I straightened out the bottom parts here. I heated up the handle itself, took the twist out of it, and now I'm going to make my own. I'm actually going to cut these down eventually and make my own handle on the front of them. But that's for a later project. Anyway, now we got to get the body leveled up like it's ready to go so we can attach this front door so we can start figuring out how they go together. Contact. Now she should start lifting. Oh no, shoot. I was on the drain plug of the differential.
We got caught on the edge of the forge.
Try it again. Oh, one side's going up. There we go. Okay. Now, pretty even here, but we're not quite even with the outer rocker, so it needs to go in a little. Let's see how the door fits in the opening. Not bad down here at the bottom. We do have a big gap up here, like the back still needs to flex up. I think that's maxed out, so shoot. Good here. Oh, we're really good here. That brought it up nice there. It's not bad at all. Huh. Wheel? That made our gap too tight.
This door went around the forge. A little more. Go by a lot.
Come on, get in there. Still don't think we have it close enough that I can start cutting this in yet. So I gotta fiddle around with this body more. And right now I don't know what that means. I might need to do some thinking on this, how I'm gonna accomplish this. Get this all twisted together correctly. You know, in theory, you think you butt these up against each other, tack them together, and this is all back the way it was. But that doesn't mean it wasn't tweaked out of shape before then, before they cut those. And it definitely would be a lot easier to make this into a modified or a little roadster pickup and do away with 2 doors. Telling you, make my life a lot easier getting the body straightened out. But I really want the touring. So I'm gonna stop for a while and think about this, see if I can figure this out.
Hey, there it is. How's it look? No, it's not ready. I think it looks pretty good. When I was looking at it from the other side of the car, it looked like it was already welded in and everything. But we're not there yet. We still got to cut this door to fit this a little better, and so we can start welding it in so we can cut and join the plates. However, we're not going to do that in this video. Why? Lots of reason, guys. For one thing, I've been traveling a lot, so I haven't had a lot of time to work on the car. That doesn't mean I haven't done a lot of work. A lot of work I didn't show you went into this video. For one, those door plates that I made, basically I had to make 16 plates for the hinges and the catches, and cutting the steel. It didn't take a lot of time, but you know, I'm drilling 2 holes per, tapping 2 holes per. I did screw one up, had to remake it, so 17, that's 34 holes, 34 taps. I didn't put all that on video. It's kind of boring watching a guy drill a bunch of holes and tapping those holes and one over and over and over. So anyway, so I got all that. The front doors for the part of the hinge that actually attached to the door, that didn't need those plates. They have steel already drilled and tapped inside them for that. And they use a number 12 machine screw to attach the hinge to the doors. What I didn't show you though was the passenger side door. That one was fine. All 4 screws came out without too much of a fight. The driver's side door, however, 3 out of the 4 screws broke. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to get those broken screws drilled out, the holes retapped, etc., etc. I broke 4 more drill bits, so I've broken 6 drill bits so far on just these, trying to get these doors somewhat attached. I had another broken screw on the door handle over here. I think I actually broke a bit in that one too, if now that I think about it. So I probably broke 6 or 7, maybe more bits at this point on just these door latches and handles. But anyway, I had to get that screw out, and because it was a 1024, it was a lot tougher. So I got a lot of hours in behind to this that just hasn't even been. Not to mention all the banging and straightening of hinges, and I'm still got, that's going to go on for a while. It's going to be a while before I get all these hinges perfectly tweaked to where everything works well. That said, I do have the passenger side door attached and kind of working. The driver's side door attached and kind of working. Yeah, you can see it doesn't fit the greatest, but it's there. The rear doors are all attached, kind of swinging, kind of well. They're not lined up yet. Still got work to do there. And same thing on this side. Now, during all my thinking on this, I did realize that I don't need to get my body all square in order to get my location marked here. I really only need to get the door fitting pretty well at this point in order to locate this. So I can move on now from where I got the doors now. And since I've got all 4 doors attached, I'm going to go ahead and do that part now, but it's going to have to wait till the next video. That's because of several reasons. The primary reason is it's been raining a lot here, and because I'm working out of a small 1-car garage, cramped up, lack of space, and every time I need to really work, I got to move a bunch of stuff out into the driveway to work, especially when it comes to welding. Here's the reason why. I'm not good at welding yet, and I need to cut these and fit these and tack them in, and I need to be really comfortable when I start to weld in order to get halfway decent welds. So that requires me, I'm going to take the door off, lay it on a table out front there where I sit down on a little stool where I'm all comfortable and good in position to give myself the best chance of success. And with this rain here lately, I just haven't been able to do that next step. So that's going to have to wait because of that. Another reason is I'm traveling a lot for work right now, so I just I'm not here as often to work on it. And the final reason, it kind of sucks, but the truth is YouTube kind of punishes content makers that don't publish their new videos on a regular basis. And so I'm just kind of squeezing this in. I'm going to have to cut it short before I complete this to just get a video out. Now, all that said, I know that feels like a lot of excuses. And to a degree, I agree with you. However, it's just the reality I have to deal with now. And I don't feel I've stopped at this point at a failure. I have completed my latches, the patch panels with the supports behind them. I've got all the doors back on the car where the car's kind of solid again. They're actually better attached now. Previously, they were just kind of stuck together and I was using a bungee strap to hold it together. Now I can actually latch 2 of the doors. I can hold the other 2 together with friction with these plates still in place. So it's a lot closer. And a lot of work was done, whether it really looks like it or not. So I'm going to leave it here now, end the video, move on. And next time I'll be actually taking and cutting these in, fitting them and tacking them into place. And hopefully at the end of that video, we will have all 4 doors attached, not perfectly aligned, but shutting and latching to where we can start getting this body together. Oh my God, I want to get this body into one piece. It's driving me crazy. So I hope you can bear with me. I hope you don't want to unsubscribe. I hope more people will subscribe and see where I take this car. And yeah, stick with me. I will get there. It's just going to take me a little longer than planned. I think that's how all these projects go. So until then, YouTube, later.